Thorfinn Karlsefni. Born in the year 996 as son of Thors, raised in a small village on Iceland's coast, Thorfinn has a simple start to life with a family that toiled their greatest in order to survive in the rather harsh environment. Much of the village's success due to Thorfinn's father, Thors, assumed leader of the village, who placed an unprecedented responsibility on himself regarding the protection of his family and people.
With the lush forests of Markland behind us, we sailed onward to the south. The wind seemed to be telling us, there's a better land waiting for you on the horizon.
Leif Erikson, a great explorer, merchant and friend of Thor's. To Thorfinn, he is as an uncle who tells tales of his adventures to the children of the village.
And finally, we found it! A new continent! So, I called it Vinland.
Leif explains to Thorfinn the reason behind the village's existence.
They had to run away, either submit and kneel before their new king, or leave their home for good. Many couldn't stand to live under Harald's tyranny, and went to a land far outside his reach. We came here, to Iceland.
And Thorfinn vaguely begins to understand glimpses of the bigger picture. Halfdan's escaped slave, his father's past, and the inevitable future that is closing in.
What would happen if we wanted to escape from here? Where would we go?
I'm sorry, Maria.
Thor's past was one he has now come to regret. Despite his efforts to keep it from reaching him yet again, he has proven to not be so fortunate. Thor's, Troll of Yom, deserter commander of the Joms Vikings, has found himself regrettably facing the threat of war yet again.
This is a village at the edge of the world. We aren't concerned with any kingdoms that lie beyond the North Sea.
Well, I'm afraid that just won't do. We're to gather up the entire fleet at Jomsborg, without exception. Do you understand? It doesn't even matter if there are those who were deserters. This war on the horizon is one in which you too will fight.
Too naive to see the deeper precedent of war coming to the village, all the young fools are overjoyed and eager to fight. This includes Thorfinn, who takes things a little too far. Thorfinn finds it.
So pretty.
Whose life do you intend to take?
Enemies.
Listen to me, my son. You don't have enemies. The truth is that nobody has them. Nobody in this entire world deserves to get hurt.
These words, his father says, are incredibly important in the way they impact the rest of the story and the rest of Thorfinn's life. However, at this point, they only make Thorfinn upset and enraged. Next morning, when it is time for the village's small force of warriors to set off, Thorfinn is nowhere to be found. Thors regrets this, yet is certain that in the end, he expects everything will be alright. That's until something unexpected happens.
They're on the sea!
Now certain that he gets to go to war, Thorfinn is brimming with excitement, unaware of what truly awaits. Approaching the scheduled stop at the Faroe Islands en route to Norway, both Thors and Leif sense that something is off.
Leif, you've stopped. What is it?
Something's off.
What's wrong?
I can't quite tell. But something's different from the last time I was out here.
Their uncertainty proven certain, as their ships face an ambush from pirates.
Father?
This peril forces Thor to do the one thing he fears most.
Use this only to protect yourself. Understand? Only as a last resort.
Damn you! Hey, where'd you come from? You're not welcome on this ship, you bastard! My brother!
Oh, this one's good.
The battle ensues. Thorfinn watches as his father takes on the pirates single-handedly.
Not bad. Troll of Yam.
Thorfinn witnesses who his father truly is.
You must be the one in charge. In the name of the almighty Odin, I challenge you to a duel. If you win, you can have whatever you want. If I win, you and your men withdraw immediately.
All right, then I'll accept the duel. Askeladd, son of Olaf, swears to you in the name of Odin. If I can read his next move, then I can read the arc of his attack.
That's it. A wide swing.
He got me. He was just waiting for that last swing I took at him. He expected me to break his sword. It was all part of his plan. Damn it. I can't believe I only played into his hands.
You cowards stay back! I can cut his head off in one stroke! You! Use the sword! Hurry the hell up!
I'll accept. The winner of this duel is Thor's the Troll.
On that day, the great Thor Snorrenson gained no honor from his very own son, who to all that remained was despair.
How could Father be dead and the monster's still alive? How?
Look at that! He's got himself a little dagger there. Oh no! What'll we do? I'm scared to death.
Cowards! How dare you! How dare you take a warrior like my father! I'm gonna kill you for that! I'll be the last thing you see! I'll kill you! Do you hear me? I'm gonna kill you!
He's only a boy, but just look into those eyes.
Thorfinn now only has one goal: revenge. He vows to kill Askeladd no matter what, even if it means abandoning his family and the lessons taught by his father. Askeladd and his men make their way to a village to raid for the night. Thorfinn, who followed Askeladd, makes his way to their camp, where he finds Askeladd asleep. He wants to kill him, then and there. Thorfinn grabs the sword of one of the men, but as soon as he stands over Askeladd, sword raised, he freezes. He can't kill him. Not like that. His father taught him better. So, Thorfinn leaves. However, Askeladd was awake the entire time. The next morning, Thorfinn approaches Askeladd and challenges him to a duel. Everyone is surprised he's still even alive. Askeladd accepts, but the duel is incredibly one-sided. Askeladd beats Thorfinn to a pulp, yet he spares his life. Thorfinn spends the night scrounging for food when he comes in contact with a wolf. At first, the wolf isn't scared until Thorfinn draws his dagger. The wolf charges straight towards him, and in self-defense, Thorfinn kills the wolf. Realizing how much easier it is to use the dagger over the sword, Thorfinn spends the next few days honing his skills with the dagger. Eventually, Thorfinn challenges Askeladd to yet another duel. And while the fight goes a little bit better than the first, Thorfinn is still no match and is bested.
You are persistent, aren't you?
This isn't over! Not until I kill you! You'll die for what you did!
Prove yourself on the field of battle. You're a warrior, right? You do that, and I'll reward you with a proper duel.
have your word on that?
Of course. You can always trust a warrior's promise.
I'll prove myself. And when I do, I promise, I will kill you.
But Thorfinn is still a child. He's never even seen war. In fact, the first time he even sees the spoils of war, he is visibly shaken. And yet, when he takes his first life, he continuously stabs the guy over and over and over, until all he can do is cry out in a mix of regret and anger. Over a montage, we see Thorfinn gain experience as he becomes more skillful in battles, killing more and more men, but he still hasn't fully changed yet. On one of his first raids, 10-year-old Thorfinn gets wounded and is found and brought back to health by a kind English woman and her daughter, who also save him from nearby soldiers. Before he leaves, he warns the family about the incoming invasion from Askeladd. As he burns down a barn to signal to Askeladd, he sees the English woman again, and his face shows regret, momentarily reverting to the face of the innocent 6-year-old kid from Iceland.
We'll join the attackers, then open that treasury, and everything will belong to us.
I like it! I knew there must be a reason we came out to the middle of nowhere. Just leave it to Askeladd!
We can always trust the chieftain to come through.
This should make up for what we couldn't get in England.
So Thorfinn, well, you better get ready.
By the time Thorfinn is 16 years old, nothing remains of the kid he once was. His face shows only that of hate. At this point, he's killed too many, becoming one of the best warriors on Askeladd's crew. But unlike them, he takes no pleasure in killing and pillaging. Yet, he'll kill anyone and turn a blind eye to anything if it means it'll get him one step closer to avenging his father. Askeladd once said,
The truth is, all of us are slaves to something.
And Thorfinn is a slave to vengeance. Nobody can stop him. Not even a reunion with Leif Erikson, who's been looking for him all these years, can stop him. The relationship between Thorfinn and Askeladd is interesting. Askeladd does not hate Thorfinn the way Thorfinn hates him. In fact, over the 11 years Thorfinn was on Askeladd's crew, Askeladd began to take him more seriously, especially when it came to Thorfinn's death threats. In many cases, he even trusts Thorfinn, such as looking after Prince Canute. That becomes even more apparent when Thorfinn protected Askeladd against his own crew, who revolted. He even goes so far as challenging Thorkel, a man who was only ever bested by Thor's himself. The only reason he even fought against Thorkel was to stop him from killing Askeladd. In Thorfinn's eyes, he's the only person who has the right to kill him.
Greetings, Thorfinn! Glad you're well!
Keep your hands off Askeladd! He's mine, not anyone else's! If you lay a finger on him, I'm going to kill you! Alright, you hear me? Touch him and I will kill you!
I always knew that he was stupid.
Prince Canute's arrival doesn't really affect Thorfinn. In fact, it's the opposite. Canute starts off as a timid, self-conscious prince who's never really had the challenge to make his own decisions. But Thorfinn changes that. Thorfinn doesn't talk to Canute like he's a prince. He's honestly pretty demeaning to him. And this affects Canute in a way that makes him more confident and change overall, whilst Thorfinn stays as the rageful, vengeful kid he was before he met Canute. After Prince Canute is brought to York, Thorfinn and Askeladd have yet another duel. Only this duel will be their last, and it's the most one-sided of them all. Askeladd, who just came off from killing Bjorn, his second in command, was full of anger and remorse, so he took it out on Thorfinn in a heartbreaking fistfight. Askeladd then tells Thorfinn the story of his past, and how in many ways the two are almost identical. One could even say Askeladd is like a reflection of what Thorfinn could potentially become. They both lost family and were consumed by vengeance. Only Askeladd could not move past his desire for revenge.
Lower your sword. Do so and I will forgive your impertinence.
Oh, will you? Don't get carried away, Your Highness. For the mockery of my family and my people, you deserve certain death.
Final warning. Lower your sword. Now. Hurry! Attack men!
Askeladd yells for Thorfinn to stay back. Instead, he allows Prince Canute to be the one to kill him.
First time that you've plunged a blade into a man, Your Highness. You did well.
Hey, Askeladd!
Thorfinn is enraged.
Are you mocking me, you bastard? You're taking this from me too! It's not the way things are supposed to happen! Not like this! Don't do it! You can't just die on me! Let's go! Face me in a duel right now! Don't you get it? I was the one who was supposed to kill you! Come on! Don't mess around!
Good grief. This is why I can't stand kids.
You want me a duel? Hey, stand up!
Thorfinn's only goal, his only purpose in life for the past 11 years, taken from him. In a fit of sheer desperation, Thorfinn attacks and wounds Prince Canute. But it means nothing, because now he has nothing.
You little...
Rist þú. Ristu í líkamann. Ristu í jörðu.
Everything was taken from him. He was left alone with nothing, sold off into slavery as punishment for his transgression. Immediately, this is a stark contrast to the Thorfinn of a few years prior. Everything changed, and he has only one purpose. As a slave, put to work on Ketil's farm, he is to clear-cut an entire forest. So he does, alone and quietly, until a new slave, Einar, arrives on the farm.
That was the moment when me and Thorfinn met for the first time.
He is sent to work the same task as Thorfinn. Their two personalities contrast each other. Thorfinn stays reserved and doesn't say much to Einar, nor does he take any offense from the harassment the two receive from Ketil's retainers. Einar takes things much differently. Despite the challenges, the two work together to complete their task, a task that ultimately has a greater value. For you see, Ketil, though a slave owner, he is as gracious as a slave owner can get.
What you see is a wheat farm in the making. These old woods are on part of my land, and the two of you will be borrowing it from me.
Borrowing?
Yes. I'll leave it in your care. You're to clear this forest, till and plant the fields, and bring in the harvest.
Then I'll purchase the wheat from you at a fair price. And once you've earned enough to cover what I paid for you, you'll be able to buy yourselves back.
The task he gives to Thorfinn and Einar is not just to clear the forest. It is a task to clear their shackles. That is Thorfinn's goal. That is what he shall work towards. Thorfinn introduces Einar to the dynamic of the farm. Einar meets Sverkel, Ketil's father and previous lord of the farm, who offers occasional assistance to the two. Einar also catches a glimpse of Arnaith, another slave on the farm who, unlike him and Thorfinn, works as Ketil's personal caretaker. She does not have the same opportunity of buying her own freedom. He makes it his mission to help Arnaith, though this would prove to be rather complicated. Einar, a previous farmer before he was caught into slavery, teaches Thorfinn valuable insight in regards to farming.
You can spread a bit more seed than that.
Huh? But isn't this all we have?
Don't worry about that. Just grab a big handful and throw. We're friends, so you can trust me, all right?
We're friends?
What? Really? Why would you question that? We are friends. Did you not think we were?
No. We are friends.
This is indeed helpful as they still face retaliation from the retainers. Not only do the retainers prove to be problematic, there's also the guests. Warriors who were hired by Ketil to defend and maintain peace on the farm. Ironic considering their intentions towards the slaves. Olmar, son of Ketil and young fool who is desperate to prove himself as a warrior, is coaxed into drinking with the guests. Fox and Badger in particular, who humiliate Olmar, and seeking some kind of cruel entertainment, convince Olmar that there is only one way to prove himself as a man.
I can't take it anymore!
So, what now?
I'm a worthless nothing, nobody!
Young master, I think what you're trying to say is that you don't like being treated as if you were a child by all the respectable folks in your life. Am I understanding you right?
You guys don't treat me any differently either!
Sure we don't, but what else do you expect? You're only half a man, so that's how we treat you. If you want to be a real man, then you're in luck. Because it's not that difficult to do. It's a rite of passage kind of thing. You just need to kill a person.
Thorfinn and Einar are taken to the guest space, Olmar awaiting his trial. The rest speaks for itself.
Go on, young master. Just give him a good whack and you'll start feeling like a man in no time.
A good what? You can't.
Yes! Seems the big guy figured out there's something afoot. One of you is about to help the young master here become a man. Die for us.
You can't be serious! What could we have possibly done that makes you think we deserve to be sentenced to death?
You've done nothing wrong, but you two are property and don't get a say in how you're treated, so we don't really need a reason to do whatever we want. Your owners have every right to deal with you as they see fit, since you are their possessions. Now, Olmar here is one of your rightful owners, and he wants to cut you down. So that's what's going to happen. You should feel honored.
Thorfinn, run for it.
It'll be fine.
Damn you!
All right! Yes! Fight!
Why are you standing there? Go tell the master! He needs to know what they're doing!
That's it! Fight him, young master!
This is stupid. I'll let him cut me down. Let Einar go so he can get back to work. You can kill me instead.
I'm not the kind of man who can overlook a comment like yours. Because if I don't deal with it now, then your words will only serve to lower the value of what we're selling. We're warriors by trade. Do you have any idea what it is we warriors sell? It's death.
But why? Why should death be something everyone has to fear?
And with all this happening, what Thorfinn just lets happen, he does nothing to defend himself or intervene. All he does is say this.
Do we only live because we don't want to die? Why is that? Does something good come from living? It hasn't for me. In all the days I've lived, no good thing has ever happened to me.
Snake, the leader of the guests, returns and has no choice but to intervene.
That's enough, you hear me?
Was Thorfinn just willing to die? To be killed in such an unnoble way? It is here that it is truly shown that Thorfinn has given up. To him, life had become meaningless. After receiving help and understanding from Potter, a previous slave who was once in the same situation as Thorfinn and Einar, Thorfinn takes little acknowledgement of the situation that just transpired, and he simply goes back to work. Einar goes back to work, though Einar is still rebounding from what happened and confused, asks Thorfinn a question.
Thorfinn. Tell me, have you fought before? In war?
I have.
You've killed Din?
I have.
How many have you killed?
I can't tell you because I don't remember. I've killed a lot of people.
Finally, Thorfinn opens up to Einar, reveals to him his past. It begins to be clear that, like his father before him, Thorfinn lives with regret of all those he has killed. Knowing this, Einar is enraged, both having conflicting past, both of death. Though where Thorfinn was a killer who cut down a countless number of lives, Einar faced the death of his loved ones by the very hands of those of Thorfinn's kind. Those who killed without remorse and anger, and spite, chaos and rage. Einar became just like those beasts he despised. Thorfinn struggled in the night, a torrent of traumatic despair, visions of a terrible past flashing as his own life flashed before his shrouded eyes. Einar on the verge of killing his friend, or was it his enemy? And then he stopped. Einar stopped himself from falling into that pit of despair, found a way to become a greater man and break that cycle. Time goes on. Thorfinn continues his work on the farm, and Canute, now King of Denmark, continues his rampage across Britain. Their lives now take separate paths, juxtaposing that of each their own past. Separate paths that somehow will be a proven future where at that humble farm, they shall converge again. Life goes on at the farm, work and more work.
Lord, hear my prayer! Oh, Almighty!
Almighty God! Bless these crops! Let their ears grow ripe and heavy! Spare them from bugs and mold! Send the rain our way! Hey, you pray too.
The occasional disruption and incidents happening. Thorgil, Ketil's eldest son, returns from battle, and greater insight of Ketil's character is revealed.
I've built this whole life on nothing but lies. And everyone believed them. Now they all look up to me as a great man. But Thorgil, my own son, he terrifies me. I'm afraid of war. I have no stomach for violence.
Whatever the world may say, being kind and gentle isn't a bad thing.
Einar, it's you.
No. Stop. Stop! Don't do it!
No matter Thorfinn's attempts, he cannot escape his vicious past.
And good morning to you, Thorfinn.
Something wrong? Einar. I just wonder, can people really change? What does it take to change?
So, yes, Thorfinn, people can change. It might be hard, but I can see you're already in the process of changing for the better.
Is that what you really think?
It is.
Thank you, Einar. Father, what was he trying to tell me? I can't hear him. I can't hear anything. It's no use. I keep falling.
Who have you killed? Answer me, Thorfinn.
Thorfinn finds himself in an unfamiliar place, though the despair that is found there is nothing but familiar. face? Askeladd? Is this real? Is this what awaits a warrior after a lifetime of dealing despair?
Your strength was only meant to keep you safe.
You never could learn your lesson, could you, you stubborn fool?
I have failed you, Thorfinn.
Ocelot, what is this place? Is this Valhalla?
The final destination for every warrior. Locked in a war of its purest form. There are no sides, no victory, and no end. It's a battlefield without any allies, rife with only enemies to slaughter. You lived here too, not that long ago. But for better or worse, you lost yourself piece by piece until you were hollowed out.
I'm pathetic. Worthless. I can never grow beyond the monster that I am.
Spare me the damn sob story. I've heard it before. Soul bearing's all well and good, but only with open eyes. Otherwise, you'll miss everything going on right beneath your feet.
It is in this horrible place where Thorfinn finally confronts his past, and all those nameless people he has killed. And there's Askeladd. Despite it being in such a place like this, is Thorfinn finally able to see Askeladd as he truly is?
Now's not the time for you to sit around and cry, boy. You don't want to fall back down here now, do you?
Without the blindness of rage he felt before.
Even if you can barely hold on, you have to keep climbing. Don't ever stop!
Without the determination of death and revenge.
That battle is yours, and yours alone!
Thorfinn has become a completely changed man. One who regretted his actions. One who wanted nothing but to get away from a life of death.
Now go! Carry the souls of those you killed with you! Fight your true battle until the bitter end! Fight to become something beyond a monster! A true warrior!
And he is told by the one he hates and respects most to never stop climbing. This is the path of a true warrior. It is here when Thorfinn takes the first step. Thorfinn vows to never hurt ever again. Others take the steps of their own. Leif, after learning of Thorfinn's capture into slavery, spends his old age searching for Thorfinn. Ketil is summoned to the Council of Canute, who seeks an arrangement regarding Ketil's wealth and land. Simply put, this consultation would prove to be rather eventful. Unfortunate, foolish event after another, mostly due to Olmar's stupidity, escalated drastically to the highest degree.
He's man dead.
I feel for those who will suffer for this, but everything has its price. Let us take Ketil's farm, so that we may ensure peace for all.
Now Canute and his army of Yom's Vikings in bad relations with Ketil and his farm. His resolve is real and he won't stop at anything to take the farm as his own. Unaware of the impending war, Thorfinn and Einar continue their work, though they are faced with a challenge that is Garthur, an escaped slave from a neighboring farm and once husband of our knave.
I found you, my beautiful wife!
Snake and his men attempt to hunt down Garthur and eventually capture him. Thorfinn and Einar learn of Arnaith and Garthur's past, and are determined to help Arnaith escape with her husband, though it is complicated.
I'm sorry for everything. Please forgive me, my love.
put you through so much. Let's start over. We can go back to how it used to be. Release my bonds and we can be together.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And from complication, Thorfinn realizes the relationship between war and slavery. A new and impossible goal is on his mind.
It is wrong. And I was wrong.
I remember you said you wanted to rid the world of war and slavery. Or try to, at least. A world without either still sounds like a dream. What should we do to end them? How can we eliminate war and slavery?
I don't know. I can only speak about my experiences with both. But it's clear to me that war will always produce lots of slaves. With every war that's won, the people on the losing side end up being enslaved. And the losing side is often people like you or our Nath. The line between warrior and slave trader is blurry at best. Slaves can come from places off the battlefield, but I think most of them come from war. If the number of wars decreased, then so would the number of slaves. But Norsemen don't see war as a bad thing. And for a long time, I thought the exact same way. A Norseman's worth is determined by the valor and wealth he can obtain. The more enemies you kill, the more wealth you bring back home, the more respect you earn. So fathers arm their sons and teach them to fight. Then they send them off as Vikings. It's what the Nords have done since ancient times, never once questioning it. That's the problem. People don't want to change what they think is natural.
Maybe, but there are also men like you. Is it really that strange of a thing for a Norseman to swear not to hurt anyone?
In Norse society, yes. Cowards can't survive there. But that's just fine.
A new and impossible goal is on his mind.
I've done a lot of thinking. I want to find a way to be able to make it up to them. Simply not killing or destroying anymore isn't enough. That wouldn't be atonement. I need to grow more wheat than I trampled underfoot, or stained with the blood of others. I need to build more houses than I burnt down, give back more than I've taken. I may not know how to eliminate war from the entire world, but I have to start somewhere.
To achieve this goal, to end all war and slavery, Thorfinn must face challenge after challenge. The current challenge is Snake.
You're gonna hand Garther over to me. Because if you don't, you're dead.
It seems no matter what, violence is unavoidable.
Choosing violence, are we? You poor thing. Not like he's giving you many options. At least you're helping someone. What better reason to raise your fist than altruism? If only it were that easy. Because I'm pretty sure he's got just as good a reason as you. So what now, Thorfinn? Will you keep your oath to never hurt anyone again? Or unleash that long-repressed fury of yours to help somebody in need? Which road leads to becoming a true warrior?
Thorfinn does his best to stop the fight, but the damage is done. father dies. Thorfinn and Einar are left feeling powerless, but realize that there was nothing more they could have done. They can't save everyone. Upon Ketil's return, the farm is in shambles. Everything he had worked for at the brink of war, and hearing of Arneith's betrayal, Ketil is frustrated to an unprecedented degree.
With each passing day, I find more and more has been taken from me. Why does everything keep slipping from my grasp? And now Arneith. How could she? You tried to escape from me? Your master? Why did you do it, Arneith? Answer me. Anyone who tries to run off with what's mine will be made to pay the price. With this hand, I will punish every one of you! Huh?
He takes out his frustrations on Arneith, who is injured greatly. Tensions on the farm reach their highest, and Canut's warships are spotted. War has arrived. It doesn't take long for the fighting to begin.
I'm scared. We're all going to die. And these bastards are going to be laughing while they tear us apart.
The initial skirmish leads to the absolute devastation to Ketil and his forces. Thorfinn and Einar avoid the confrontation. It isn't their fight, and combined with Arneith's injuries, they stay at her side.
They're waiting for me. Garthur and the children. They're all waiting for me to come back. Thorfinn and Einar, I'm grateful for your kindness. For so long, I was all alone, wandering through a terrible nightmare. I thought I'd never escape. But then... at the well, we'd share your stories. We'd laugh together. And I wasn't alone.
Arneith, you can't go! Please hold on. Arneith! Stay with us! I want you to live! Arneith! Please live!
To the end, and just as Garthur before her, Arneith dies. The events of the past involving the life of Arneith and Garthur realistically should have no effect on Thorfinn's life. Their lives just happened to cross paths in this unfortunate and desperate circumstance. Thorfinn and Einar involve themselves to help someone who they truly have come to care for. Though it may be blinded by the sorrow of the moment, it is a pivotal moment for Thorfinn. It was the first time he fought to save a life rather than end one. And that's when Thorfinn makes a choice, his most profound choice. The accumulation of everything that has happened in his life has come to this moment, and it is time for him to take action.
Thorfinn. Wait. Where are you going? Hold on. What are you planning to do?
I'm going to try and talk with Canute.
What?
Ketil survived the battle and avoided capture, which means the fight isn't over. If I can just talk with Canute, I may be able to prevent more deaths.
But why? You didn't bring this war here. What we need to do is leave before the fighting starts again. Thorfinn! don't walk away. Not again. This time, please let me bring you back home to Iceland. Please.
You told me a story a long time ago about our ancestors. You said they were fleeing a war. They were trying to find a safe place where the fighting couldn't reach them. And that's how they had ended up in Iceland. I remember feeling disappointed after you told me that story. I thought they were cowards. But now, I'm proud of my ancestors.
Thorfinn.
I've seen his forces. I'd estimate Canute only brought around 100 men with him. I know how wrong this can go. But no matter what happens, I'll come back.
Thorfinn could have taken the easy route. It would have been a justifiable choice, one he had every right to make. But no, Thorfinn went beyond that, beyond everything.
Far to the west of here.
What he wants is a faraway dream, a dream he almost forgot.
Across the mighty sea, there's a place few have seen. It's called Vinland. It's warm and fertile, a distant land far beyond the reach of slave traders, where the flames of war and the scars that they leave behind. There you could live a life without pain or suffering, and never wander alone again. Let's go together and build something new for those like us. Come and see the nation of peace we build.
Alone, with no weapons, does Thorfinn confront the Yom's Viking force, a single man against the strongest army, and he has no desire to fight.
I'm an acquaintance of His Majesty. He would remember me if you told him my name. Please let him know that Thorfinn, son of Thors, is here.
Thorfinn's simple request to speak with Canute is met with mighty retaliation and humility, the definition of a fool's errand.
Survive 100 blows, and you'll see the king. But if you lose, the only way you'll leave is as a corpse.
I accept.
Thorfinn, take it back. You don't have to do this. Kettle isn't worth you risking your life for. You know what war is like. There's nothing one man can do about it. Come back with me to the ship and lead this fight to the bastards who wanted it.
I can't go. This farm helps save me from my past.
Thorfinn took hit after hit. He let it happen, taking the pain for the sake of everyone, and by the 100th strike, he remained standing.
Beating a man into submission is no way to start a peace negotiation. Today is the first I've met any of you. We know nothing about one another. I have no quarrels with anyone here, and I'm not who you came to fight. So what reason could we have to hit each other? It's absurd. We're only here because of a dispute between Canute and Kettle. The two of them could settle it with a game of Nevertoffel, and it would mean as much as this war. But they both raised armies instead, and sent them out here to spill each other's blood. We just met, and we've hardly even spoken. I don't have one enemy among these men. I have no enemies at all.
It's been a while, Thorfinn. 4 long years since the day it all happened. More than enough time to change a man.
Please, Canute. Take your army and leave the farm.
I can't leave. Kettle's clan started this dispute.
Or in other words,
It can't end until you've taken his farm for yourself. You can make all the excuses you want. They don't change what you are. A common bandit who calls himself a king. You're just another Viking chief pillaging the coast. What makes you any different, huh? You want a farm of your own that badly? You can make it yourself. Till the earth, sow the seeds, watch over the fields, and pray your crops make it to harvest. Do that, and maybe you'll understand what it means to have it all taken away. What a monstrous thing you're doing here.
You're quite right. In fact, I am the Viking chief who stands above all chiefs. I am the Sovereign King, the most powerful of all the Vikings on the North Sea. I am the ruler of the largest domain in Scandinavia. At my beck, 1,000 ships and 10,000 men. My power exceeds mortal understanding.
The entirety of Canut's power and grand ambition stands in opposition to that of Thorfinn. A meager slave who is unable to defend even himself. A man who has little to nothing. What will Thorfinn do?
Very well then. If you will see this through with force, then you leave me only one choice. Canute, if I see you, I'll run.
It certainly was a fool's errand.
Nothing more. There are so many who wish to bargain with me. Others want to trap or even kill me. But you want to tell me what to do. What fool does that? It's almost too ridiculous for words. You came to see me unarmed, suffered a terrible beating, all for the chance to ask me not to seize the farm?
I don't see how this is that funny.
You would if you had even the slightest idea of how profoundly inane this peace talk is. You'll run, yes?
Yes.
To think Vikings were even capable of producing such a beautiful contradiction as you.
And in the end, Thorfinn succeeded in his fool's errand. And just like that, Canute and his army left the farm. Thorfinn became a man who was shaped by his years of innocence, rage and retribution, the lives and deaths of those he met becoming paragons of desperation and determination. Thorfinn Karlsefni, as his father before him, has proven what it means to be a true warrior, and he won't ever falter to help others, tyrants and oppressed alike. Thorfinn won't stop until the world he seeks, the world that is so far out of reach is found, the world that only he can make happen. But why Thorfinn? It's all too simple, really.
Do you want a sword, Thorfinn? A sword is a tool meant to kill. Why do you need it? Whose life do you intend to take?
Enemies.
Your enemies? Who are they?